Alright, more talky bits.
It's nice to see you two together. Love is such a wonderful thing, isn't it?
What are you talking about? Is this more of your insipidness?
I was talking about you and the Grey Warden. You don't think the rest of us haven't noticed, I hope?
There is nothing to notice. What you call love is nothing more than a wishful fancy.
Oh, you don't fool me. Deep down inside, you must be glad of it.
Let me tell you one thing, and let us speak of it no more. Love is a weakness. Love is a cancer that grows inside and makes one do foolish things. Love is death. The love you dream of is something that would be more important to one than anything, even life. I know no such love.
Oh.
What I know is passion, the respect of equals. Things far more valuable that I'll not speak to you of any further. Now be gone.
You are very beautiful, Morrigan.
Tell me something I do not know.
But you are always dressed in such rags. It suits you, I suppose. A little tear here, a little rip there to show some skin. I understand.
You understand I lived in a forest, I hope?
Maybe we could get you in a nice dress one day. Silk. No, maybe velvet. Velvet is heavier, better to guard against the cold in Ferelden. Dark red velvet. Yes. With gold embroidery. It should be cut low in the front, of course. We don't want to hide your features.
Stop looking at my breasts like that. It is most disturbing.
You don't think so? And if it's cut low in the front, we must put your hair up. Show off that lovely neck.
You are insane. I would sooner let Alistair dress me.
It'll be fun, I promise. We'll get some shoes too.
Not shoes.
Shoes. We could go shopping together.
No.
I imagine you have already composed a suitable ballad to commemorate the events at Redcliffe, Leliana.
Why would I do such a thing?
You have taken up your instruments once again, have you not? So to speak. A bard takes events of great import and puts them to tale.
What happened at Redcliffe was horrible. So many people died, and they were violated by unimaginable evil forces.
That was not so difficult, was it? You may wish to add music, however.
You make it sound as if you enjoyed what happened there. I can barely stomach to think of it.
But we were successful in the end. Victory without cost has little worth.
I just think of what that poor little boy went through. No, I don't want to glorify what happened there.
Then who will learn from these events? I would think on it some more, were I you.
So, you truly do not believe in any sort of higher power?
It has been bothering you, I see. No, I do not. Must I?
What do you believe happens to you after you die, then? Nothing?
I do not go to sit by the Maker's side, if that's what you mean.
Only those who are worthy are brought to the Maker's side. So many other sad souls are left to wander in the void, hopeless and forever lost.
And what evidence of this have you? I see only spirits, no wandering ghosts of wicked disbelievers.
It must be so sad to look forward to nothing, to feel no love and seek no reward in the afterlife.
Yes, the anguish tears at me so. You have seen through me to my sad, sad core.
Now you're simply mocking me.
You notice? It appears your perceptive powers know no bounds.
Do you have any tales of the wilds?
None of the sort you like. No princesses in tall towers or knights throwing themselves at whole armies.
That's not all I like.
Do you want tales of the chastened wilders who dwell in the marsh? Do you want to hear of the slow deaths they inflict on their enemies? Perhaps a tale of the poisonous creatures of the wilds that lay their eggs on your skin so their young may eat you alive when hatched? Or a tale of my mother's marsh cuisine? That, in my opinion, is the most terrifying of all my tales.
No, I don't want to hear about those things.
Then I have no tales for you.
Let me ask you this then, Morrigan. What if there really was a Maker?
Then I would wonder why he has abandoned his creation. It seems terribly irresponsible of him.
He left us because we were determined to make our own way, even if we hurt ourselves. And he could not bear to watch.
But how do you know? You cannot ask him this. Perhaps he has gone to a new creation elsewhere and abandoned this as a dismal failure best forgotten.
I do not need to know, because I have faith. I believe in him and feel his hope and his love.
Faith. How quickly those who have no answers invoke that word.
How can someone who practices magic have so little capacity to believe in that which he cannot see?
Magic is real. I can touch it and command it, and I need no faith for it to fill me up inside. If you were looking for your higher power, there it is.
But only if you can control it. I do not envy the loneliness you must feel at times, Morrigan.
Leave me be. Loneliness would be preferred to this endless chatter. So I see you are quite the little deceiver after all.
Finally decided to gloat, have you?
It simply suits my view of the Chantry that one of their devoted sisters should turn out to be so full of hypocrisy.
There are good people in the Chantry. Many good people who are just there to help others.
And apparently at least a few who are simply pretending to be good.
At least I was trying to be better than I was. At least I regretted the evil I'd done. Better that than be someone who's never loved anyone or anything, least of all herself. Anything but that.
It seems at least you got the self-righteousness down pat. Well done.
When? Is this yours?
Oh, my bag of components. Thank you, dear. I was wondering where it got to.
You left it by the fire at camp.
Oh, yes, I remember now. How age creeps up on you and brings with it forgetfulness.
You're a great mage, Wen, and you're sharper and wiser than many people I know. Some young ones too.
Oh, but you should have seen me 15, 20 years ago. The fires have dimmed somewhat since then. But thank you, Liliana, for picking up after this old lady.
You remind me of Lady Cecily.
Who?
She was an Orlesian lady. My mother served her until she died, and Lady Cecily let me stay, instead of turning me out on the street. You are like her in some ways. You have the same poise, the same air of nobility.
Oh, child, I am heartily noble.
I learned that nobility isn't just something you are born with. I have met nobles who are very petty and mean, complete degenerates. Then, there are people with a certain dignity and grace. It draws you to them, no matter who you are or who they are. I think the lowest peasant can have the most noble spirit, and it will always shine through. It is this nobility of spirit that you share with Cecily.
Why, thank you, Liliana. It is very kind of you to say that. It is sometimes so hard to believe that you have been through so much at such a young age.
I think I look younger than I am.
Yes, that is possible. When I was your age, I was just about ready to take on my first apprentice. In hindsight, perhaps I should have waited a few more years. I was arrogant, my confidence bolstered by my youth.
It is so hard to imagine seeing you now.
Oh, I've had some 2 decades or so to grow mellow. Believe me, back then I was quite prickly.
So you are like a fine wine, yes? Losing the raw edges over time.
I suppose there is some truth to that analogy, but dear Maker, I do hate being compared to wine. Or cheese. Especially cheese.
You are not religious, yes? You do not believe?
I do, to some extent. It does not govern my life, however. Why do you ask?
Oh, nothing. You are just a very good person, and it shows. And I thought at first you were religious like some of the revered mothers. But no. I thought about it, and I realized that you're not.
I do what I do because I enjoy it. Because I enjoy teaching others, helping them. I do not seek recognition for my works. I do not seek the approval of my peers, nor the approval of a distant god.
That is admirable, doing good for its own sake. Some I knew were not like that. They bragged about what they did, trying to impress others. Oh, Lady Adele, you fed and clothed 20 orphans. How noble. No, it's nothing, Lady Clarabelle. You treated 40 lepers and gave them massages. Like a competition with false modesty. Sickening.
Did Lady Clarabelle really give 40 lepers massages?
Who knows? Lady Clarabelle had strange tastes. I wouldn't be surprised if she did that and more. I heard about what happened and I don't really know what to say. But I feel like I need to say something. Sorry, perhaps.
I do not need sympathy, so do not feel obliged to give me comfort. We all die, Liliana, and we all know it. How is this different?
Because it's sooner?
Is it really? I may die next year, or I may die tomorrow, shot through the heart by a bandit's arrow. I do not know for sure. The constant fear of death is enough to take the joy out of anything, especially life. Do not worry for me or for yourself. Death will take us when it wills. Until then, we shall live, truly live. Do you miss the cloister much? I heard you were quite happy there.
Yes, I was generally. It was peaceful and it gave me a new start. No one knew who I was, but sometimes I am glad I am away and back on the road. There were bothersome things about the place. Well, bothersome people. Some of the brothers and sisters would talk to you like the chant they spoke was more pleasing to the Maker. Oh, I hated the way they talked down at me. So sometimes I forget the words to the chant, or say them wrong. But so what? The Maker looks into your heart, no? So it doesn't matter what your lips say, as long as your heart is true.
I think you're missing the point, my dear. The chantry believes the chant of light should be spread around the world. You cannot spread it if those that are speaking the chant are speaking it incorrectly.
But I came to the Maker before I had even heard all of the chants. The Maker speaks to people. They just don't know how to listen. It is all a power game, I think. If they convince others they know more, then they must be respected.
Child, it is precisely this kind of talk that made them wary of you. Opinions that differ from your own are always threatening.
It must be a wonderful thing to be able to weave spells.
Wonderful. To you, perhaps. Most do not feel the same way.
Oh, what do they know? They're just jealous. The Maker gives you magic. You must use it. You do it so effortlessly. It's like breathing for you. I wish I had such talent.
But you do. You have your music, your dances. You are more graceful than anyone I've ever met. I think that perhaps the Maker gives us all magic, but of different sorts.
Even Ogren?
Ogren is a dwarf. He doesn't really come from the Maker.
Oh yes, that explains it.
So I am led to understand that the sister is a follower of this Maker.
Am I the sister? Oh, that's so cute. It's like you're my big brother. Or sister. Or whatever.
I was a dwarf in life, so I doubt such a thing would even be possible.
Oh, I didn't mean literally. Don't you think that people can be related in spirit?
I notice that humans tend to believe in a great number of things that are not true, even when given evidence to the contrary.
Oh, Shale.
Believing in things when there is no proof is what faith is all about, Shale.
Believing in things when there is no proof is what gullibility is all about.
So I am gullible now.
I take it we are no longer sisters in spirit.
I did not realize that you were a woman.
That is because I am not. I am a golem.
But you were once a woman and a dwarf. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
The Bard speaks of someone who lived and died 5 centuries ago. What have I in common with her?
You share a soul.
I do not. It talks in riddles. Desist or I shall crush its head. I may have a cause to apologize to the sister.
Apologize? For what?
For suggesting that the sister was gullible for believing in things which were not real.
Oh, that! I'd already forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me.
I suppose it would offer some comfort to believe that things occur according to some grand purpose. All those years I spent in Honleith, unable to move, it would be comforting to think there was some reason for it.
Do you know there wasn't? Perhaps the Maker did it to bring you here, to us. You once said that you had no purpose. Perhaps you are simply looking for it in the wrong place.
Perhaps. I shall think on this. So I take it that the Swamp Witch and the Grey Warden are, intimate?
I am hoping that is not a reference to Alistair.
Because it believes I'm an oblivious moron.
Anything is possible. As to the original question, is there a reason you ask?
I'm simply curious as to whether or not it bewitched the Grey Warden.
I have no need to force anything from men.
Oh, my apologies then. I was about to offer my congratulations for a task accomplished.
And not intended as a backhanded compliment at all, yes?
Not at all. I'm the soul of politeness.
Do you miss the life you once had, Shell? These centuries of memories you have lost?
Does it miss being within its mother's womb?
Do I... Well, no. I don't remember that far back.
It is no different. My memory stretches only so far, and what went before is now lost.
And you remember nothing at all? Not even a little bit?
There are images, faces who I have no names for, places I remember being but not where they are. Do I miss these things? They are without context. I feel only disquiet when I think of them.
Like dreams, then. When you awake, all the details have fled.
Is that what it is to dream? Then yes, perhaps it is like that.
How very sad. To discover your entire life has been a forgotten dream. I am so sorry.
I understand the Swamp Witch is out to slay its own mother.
Entirely in self-defense?
So it claims. It could not have been its plan from the very beginning, then.
I knew nothing about my mother's intentions prior to finding the book. 'Twas your notion I arranged that.
Unnecessary, considering it is the only one who can read the book. It could just as well be a journal or a book of recipes.
Would you like me to teach you how to read the book? Then you can see for yourself.
Now it is testing me.
Well, do you care enough to learn or no?
No, I do not care.
Then leave me be.
How many other forms can the Swamp Witch become?
Several.
Can it become a golem?
Seeking companionship, are you?
If it could become a golem, I simply wonder why it would not stay that way. It is a superior form.
No, I cannot become a golem. I can learn to become animals, and each form must be learned anew.
And how does it learn a form? Does it read about it somewhere?
It is not a talent one can read from books. You must copy a creature's soul.
I do not understand.
Nor should you. Rock is unchanging. Allow it to stay that way.
Would the Swamp Witch consider explaining the nature of magic to me? I am most curious.
Surely there is another who would not be so bothered by your tiresome questions. Perhaps Alistair.
I fear the Second Warden has not the knowledge to answer my question.
Very
You
true.
might ask him anyhow. Certainly whatever he happened to come up with would serve as amusement.
I do not understand. I seek enlightenment and not amusement.
You're apt to get much further seeking amusement, I assure you.
The Swamp Witch is a most confusing creature. I do not understand it.
You're not the first one to say so. First golem, perhaps.
I will ask the Swamp Witch later, when it is less inclined to make bizarre responses to my queries.
We will be waiting some time then, I fear.
I would still like to know how the Swamp Witch learns its forms.
Eager, are you not? Does the golem wish to become human after all?
A human is a soft and weak form. I desire no such thing.
Then why the interest in shape-changing? Unless you secretly wish to become something other than what you are.
Is that why the Swamp Witch learned? To escape her form?
In a way. It was lonely to grow up in the wilds. To join with the forest, to become one with its denizens. There was a freedom in that.
I think it would be an excellent talent for disguises.
Or perhaps to walk through doors without hitting one's head.
Yes, exactly.
Well, 'tis not a good enough reason.
What is a good enough reason?
For which?
It said that my reason for learning more of shape-changing was not good enough. What reason would be?
I do not know. Tell me what it is and I shall decide.
It could simply decide any reason was insufficient then.
You find that maddening, do you?
It has a bird-like nature to its sadism, I'll give it that.
Good. Let us leave it that way.
I have thought about what the sister said.
Our last talk. And?
I would like the sister to explain to me the purpose of birds.
Birds? What kind of birds?
Any kind. The evil little demons that strafe the ground with their droppings. What reason could your maker have for such things?
The same he has for any evil, such as the Darkspawn, if one were to equate the two.
I have a difficult time believing in any higher power that would inflict evil upon the world. Does it enjoy such jests?
Perhaps there is a lesson to learn in it. Not all lessons are easy, Shell.
It's any wonder this maker has so many followers. I mean, birds. What was he thinking? Why does the bard stare at me so?
I was thinking of writing a song about you. The statue with the heart of gold. Or something like that.
It thinks my heart is made of gold. It is stone as anything else. Cold stone.
I meant that you had a good heart. It seems to me that you do.
And they call this having a heart of gold? Why?
Because gold is precious and shiny and a good heart is just as valuable.
Shiny.
In a matter of speaking.
My heart does not qualify as shiny. I kill, frequently, and not without pleasure.
You have had a difficult
Something most
life.
of my
Deep down
companions
at
have
the
in
center of
common.
your being, you are a good person. I believe that.
Even though I have never demonstrated this aspect? How peculiar.
You aren't all stone, Shell. There is a person inside of you.
If so, it is because I ate him.
I do not understand why you hate birds so much.
It is because I had to endure their chirping, their perching, and most especially their constant
No, I understand that part. But they were just being what they are.
Exactly. Disgusting vermin with wings. Darkspawn must be exterminated for being what they are as well.
But a bird is a creature of grace and beauty. They open their mouths and they sing.
The bard hears music. I hear a wail of banshees that boils my blood.
But what about a nightingale? Or a swan?
Oh, swans are assholes.
They are not pigeons, it is true. Still, evil beasts of the sky.
I give up.
The swamp witch desires something from it.
From what? Ah, you mean from him. And if I do, what of it?
It is aware of the swamp witch's true nature.
Yes.
Let me guess. You know my true nature?
I have spent a great deal of time observing the world. I know what I see when I see it.
You spent 30 years watching whatever a small village was willing to parade in front of your eyes. Do not cast yourself as the worldly sage. At best, you are a barely working statue with a poor memory and a poor attitude. Do not seek to begin judging me.
Perhaps it has a point.
Yes, I should think so.
I have thought a little more about the sister's maker.
He's not just my maker, Shell. He's your maker too. He created everything.
I happen to know exactly who my maker is.
I think you're wrong. The important part of you, that part which makes you, you, he made that.
And the sister simply believes this, even though there is no proof.
I do.
And the sister still believes that she and I could be sisters, in spirit.
I do. I think that would be nice.
I suppose there are worse things that could happen. Like being assaulted by a flock of pigeons.
I'm glad to hear it.
The sister has interesting footwear.
Oh no. Oh no.
You like shoes, do you?
My mass is considerable. Some cushioning on my feet would be ideal, but I doubt such footwear could be made.
I could see some nice thick sandals being made, with very thick leather straps. Oh yes, that could be done. Perhaps we could find some cobbler who could give it a try. What color would you want?
Surely the color is unimportant.
In fact, the color is very important. That, and picking a shape that makes your ankles look slender. And you could use some help there, I fear.
I have thick ankles.
It's alright. I don't like my thighs. What's important is working with what you have.
Very well. I wish my shoes to be red.
Oh, bold choice. We'll have to remember that.
At least the bloodstains won't show.
The swamp witch has been looking at me oddly. Stop it, or I will crush its tiny bird-like head.
I am simply finding it difficult to believe that there is a woman inside of there.
A woman who is also a warrior, and a dwarf.
Yes, that would explain a great deal.
The swamp witch has a great deal in common with my former master.
The Swamp Witch. How original.
The swamp witch has the same arrogance, the same air of cruelty. I would hate for it to have possession of my control rod, if it still worked, of course.
Let me tell you what you can do with your control rod, Gollum.
Is it telling me that if the rod did work, that it wouldn't want control over me?
I wouldn't go so far as that. I could, for instance, command you to go and jump in a lake. A very deep lake.
It fools no one. The swamp witch would control everything if it could. It would have us all dancing on its strings.
Oh, you know me too well, Gollum. Your revealing gaze has laid me bare.
I will be watching the swamp witch. It must not be trusted.
Now you're beginning to sound just like Alistair.
Why does the swamp witch still travel with the Grey Wardens?
You are of the opinion that I should not be?
I am curious. It seems as if it has little reason to stay.
The same could be said of you. There is no control rod commanding your presence, Gollum.
I have no history and thus no purpose. The same cannot be said for the swamp witch. Its purpose is simply unknown.
Keep asking questions and I shall turn into a bird. I can do that.
I have no fear of birds.
Oh, I didn't say you were afraid. I would simply hover out of reach. Hovering, waiting until...
Enough! I shall be silent.
Excellent choice.
You're such a handsome dog. I think that every time I look at you. Lady Cecily, I lived with her after my mother died, had a dog. A small one bred to fit under the arm and in the lap. What did you name it? Oh yes, Bonbon. Oh, Bonbon was a terror. He would hide, you know, when he saw you coming. And then he would attack your ankles. Rather sharp teeth in the ankles. Very painful. He attacked me once. Latched onto my leg. I thought it was a diseased rat and kicked. Bonbon flew across the room and over the banister. He survived. But he never came near me after that. I have been setting down in ink the tales of our exploits, and I have been thinking about ways to describe you. You are unlike any animal I have ever met. Almost human in your intelligence and understanding. So, let me see. You're loyal, yes? That one is obvious. Very, very clever. This is also obvious. You are terrifying when you have to be, but gentle and sweet as a dove at other times. And you are also playful. Sometimes gluttonous. No? What is all this begging for food scraps then? Well, all right. You're not gluttonous. You're just a lover of fine foods. How's that?
You ate my entire bag of herbs, you foolish dog. Do not think I am unaware of where it went. It is your own fault for being so entirely gluttonous. Several of those herbs were poisonous. You should be pleased they did not kill you. Do not be ridiculous. I am certainly not going to give you more, even if I did have more to give. Oh, you have some nerve, creature, and your breath leaves much to be desired. Off you go. We shall see. I promise nothing. Another? I just gave you one, fool dog. Perhaps you should go and hunt something then. For a warrior beast, you are remarkably over-dependent. Oh, very well. But tell no one.
I saw what you were doing back there.
Oh?
Don't play innocent with me.
What are you talking about?
Outside. You are picking flowers.
No, I wasn't.
You were.
They were medicinal.
Of course they were.
You're a big softy.
We will never speak of this again.
He also likes
Sophie.
pastry.
You were in the chantry. You are a priest?
No, I was a lay sister of the chantry.
Which means...
I lived and worked in the chantry, but I did not take any vows. Oh no, the lay sisters don't have the same sorts of duties as priests at all.
So you were not a priest, did none of their duties, and took no vows, but you lived among them.
Yes,
You were a house guest of the chantry?
sort of.
You sing a great deal.
Yes, I do. Music lifts my spirit. Would you like me to stop?
I didn't say that. Was that part of your chant?
No, it was a ballad about a highwayman and the tavern girl who loved him. Could you not tell?
All your language sounds the same to me. I thought you were singing of vegetables, actually. Stop that.
Stop what?
That. Looking at me and giggling.
I can't help it. You're so big and stoic. Who would have thought you'd be a big softy?
Stop saying that. I am a soldier of the Beresad. I am not a softy.
Softy.
I hate humans. Liliana, what do you want from me?
Nothing. I'm just curious. There's a lot we don't know about you, Sten. Except that you're a big softy.
Please stop.
Damn it,
saying that.
woman.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. There's nothing wrong with having a heart, Sten. It's just not what I expected.
Why?
You're so canary. All the stories speak as if you were a hurricane or an earthquake rather than people.
Kunari are most dangerous because we are thinking men and not an unthinking force.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
For your sake, I hope you never find out.
I've heard stories about the Kunari, you know.
Oh?
They conquered nearly all of the north. Tevinter, Rivain, and Tiva. Much of the land was laid waste. In the northern kingdoms, they say the Kunari are implacable, relentless, more like a landslide than an invasion. It took 3 exalted marches to drive them back to the sea.
We'll do better next time.
Are there Kunari bards?
Why wouldn't there be?
I don't know. You don't seem like very musical people to me.
You base this on me? I am a soldier. The Antam does not do battle with lutes.
Have you changed your mind yet? Are you willing to speak seriously?
Of your bosom? As you wish.
No, I do not wish to speak of my bosom.
But it is a marvelous bosom. I have seen women half your age who have not held up half so well. Perhaps it is a magical bosom?
Stop talking about my bosom.
But I thought you wished to speak seriously.
I do. I thought, however foolishly, that you might be willing to speak of your past.
We could do that. There have been many bosoms in my past, though only few as fine as yours.
Enough. I'm ending this conversation.
You have not asked me about my conscience for some time, my darling Wynne.
That is correct. And I am not your darling.
So once again I am rejected, just as I am by the cruel, cruel fates. They are harsh mistresses to the elves.
Zevran, I am old enough to be your grandmother. And what would you do with me if you had me, hmm? This is a game you play, nothing more.
Ah, you are a cynical woman, Wynne. Cynical and powerful. It drives me mad with desire.
I am going to walk away now.
You know, Wynne, I have a friend back in Antiva who would be very excited to meet you.
I'm sorry.
Salvail prefers women with experience and maturity. He says they have more substance, are more robust and flavorful.
Does he now?
Indeed. No need to deny it. Zevran knows a fine bird when he sees one.
I am not a bird.
There is no
Shale
reason to
would be
deny
horrified
yourself
at
the
the
pleasure of
notion.
male companionship, after all, yes? You might balk now, but I assure you, Salvail is a gentleman of means and quite handsome.
I am going to walk away now, calmly, coolly. This is to save you the pain of having your brain forcibly removed through your ears.
This must be a Ferelden thing, I swear. You know, I've heard stories about your Circle of the Magi, my dear Wynne.
Is that so?
There is a circle in my country, of course, but perhaps things are different here. I visited the Antivan Circle on official Crow business once. Met a beautiful young apprentice who was very eager for a taste of the outside world.
Please, please get to the point.
All I wonder is whether the Templars guard the mages here as closely as they do in Antiva. In Antiva, the Templars watch the circle like a jealous husband guarding the chastity of a wanton bride.
Interesting metaphor, but yes, it is not too different in Ferelden.
And is it also true that when the moon swells to fullness, the mages of the circle gather at the top floor of their tower and, naked under the stars, make love to each other?
Of course not.
No! Maker's breath.
Oh, I found out recently that it was not true in Antiva and hoped that it would be in Ferelden. Alas. I couldn't help hearing about your predicament. Forgive me if I'm prying.
Yes, you are.
But what does it feel like being possessed by a spirit?
Why does this interest you so?
I simply wish to get to know those that I travel with. Is that wrong of me?
No, of course it isn't. Well, let me see. It is hard to describe. It is comforting. I feel safe. Loved.
Comforted. Loved, yes.
It is like being held close. Cradled. The bond is so complete that I am unable to extricate myself. Nor do I wish to. Wait. Why do you have that look on your face?
I'm simply imagining it. Continue, please.
And there is a constant warmth.
He's perving on your
outwards from the
possession.
very center of my being, infusing my body with
Oh.
Andraste's grace. What are you thinking about now? No, I don't want to know. I feel dirty. Do not speak to me.
So let us pretend that I do indeed believe that murder is wrong.
We are not having this conversation.
Were I to believe such a thing, what would I do with it? Feeling guilt about things one can no longer change seems so very time-consuming, with little hope for actual gain.
But you could change what you do in the future.
What would that require exactly? It seems to me that feeling guilty would take up a great deal of my time as it is.
Perhaps you could save a life instead. One for every life you have taken.
That is a great many lives to save and feel guilty as well. Perhaps I could do one or the other.
It is not a game, Zephyrin. You either know right from wrong, or you do not.
I am so confused. I think I may cry. May I lay my head in your bosom?
No. No, you may not.
You are so very cruel. How is it that you do not feel guilty?
I feel guilty for ever having spoken to you.
I am watching you, dog. Do you know how many of your kind urinated on me in that village? And all I could do is stand there and watch, helpless. If I see one of those legs of yours lift so much as an inch in my direction, pow! I'm glad we have this understanding. At least your kind can be reasoned with. Unlike those damned feathered fiends. There is an intelligence behind those canine eyes of yours, dog. It occurs to me that the dog was forged in a way not unlike I was. Someone sought to create a useful tool, and they employed magic to create the dog. The only difference is that I apparently volunteered to become what I am. The dog has heard the tale, no? Good. I wonder, however, if the dog would have decided differently had it had a choice. Would it have remained a stupid and ineffective hound, but a happy one? I, too, struggle with this question. I wish I could remember the dwarf that I once was. I suppose the dog and I are not so different after all. Just keep your urine to yourself.
It is both a good thing and a bad thing that there are so many of these and that I'm not done yet. The good thing is that they put that much thought and content into the backstories and the interactions between them. The bad thing is, I'm not done yet. I will continue on with this next time.